understand how to my plug talk.
All this college basketball talk, and we've been talking about the shot heard around Arizona for a couple of weeks now from ASU versus U of A. And I got to dissect the last 30 seconds with you, Chris, because ever since I've saw it, it's just been on the top of my brain, and you got to pull it up for us and run it through so we can break this thing down.
Yeah, let's take a look here, because watching this, it's just we talked about it a little bit, so I won't spoil it, but let's just play it once through real quick and tell me what you're seeing here.
Right. So Washington dribble hands off to DJ Horn right here. He tries to attack, gets it back out to him. And then right here, he gets the dump. Ooh, okay. And then that's a tough kind of fading shot, contested. And then Umar Ballo gets the rebound. They're in the bonus, so he gets two. He misses the first one. So you have a decision to make, and U of A decides to make the second one, but not put any pressure, just like you were talking about in that 2016 national championship for Villanova. And I mean, Desmond Cambridge hits a freaking 3/4 court shot. Like, that's still, luck has to be on your side, but there's just a couple of things that had me a little bit irked in the way that this thing went down for Arizona. And then in that last possession, or second to last possession that ASU had, I did have some thoughts on that as well. So we can pull it back to the top, Chris, and I'll pass it over to you first so you can kind of break down what you're seeing from this ASU possession here.
Yeah, so this possession, it seems that they're very – and the college game kind of tends to look that way, where it's a little bit frantic, a little all over the place. I like that pass there, and that's a tough shot. You got the guy coming across. Maybe, some guys might be calling for an over-the-back call there, but it's just – I think there were some other opportunities here where these guys on the bottom aren't really doing a whole lot. Number 5 is creating some good space, but he's just camping out in that lane. Surprised he didn't get a 3-second call. But obviously the ref's eyes are probably all on the ball right here. I honestly, watching this, the more I'm watching it, I don't necessarily have a problem with this shot right here. I think you got to take that. And the fact that he didn't hesitate to pull it is good. But just a tough break when you're down by just 1 point. You only need a 2-point bucket, and you're taking a 3-point shot. I think they had just called a timeout prior to this, so it kind of makes me wonder why didn't Bobby Hurley drop something a little bit better, or maybe prepare them for this opportunity.
Yeah, Larson for U of A had made a driving layup to put Arizona up by 1, 87-86. And they came down, took that timeout with about 20 seconds left to set up their action. And I like DJ Horn right there, number 0, trying to kind of attack, and maybe he gets a foul call because, both teams are in the bonus at this point. You're so deep into the contest. It's just normal for college teams to be in the bonus plus with like 2 to 3 minutes left in the game. But I think the biggest thing is after he passed it to Warren Washington right there, let's pause it right there. Warren Washington is a 7-footer. This is a 14 to 16-foot push shot that all 7-footers should be able to make. And the defender that switches over to him to put pressure right there doesn't seem to be the same size. And I don't understand how he doesn't just handle this ball and level and attack right there. Just shoot that shot. I will live with that shot. And especially like you said, you're only down by 1. I love that take. I love my 7-footer taking that little float push right there. But I think, depending on guys' seniority or depending on moments, if, not everybody has that dog in them, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that you can keep rolling it as well, DJ Horn, like you said, he doesn't hesitate. And in the college game, in the upper levels of basketball, the openings that guys really have always start to shrink a little bit more. Maybe not so much in the NBA. I think the court is so much bigger. Guys create more space, but especially specifically in college, it's so quick paced and quick twitch. If you have any kind of semblance of an opening, you better let it fly if you have confidence. So I just didn't like the way that he faded his body to the right
Yeah.
which it just is kind of a tough push shot at that point. And you saw that it ended up going off to the right as well.
If I can just jump in here, because I noticed while we had this pause, I see number 10 down here just absolutely wide open. And I know that is kind of a cross court pass. That's pretty tough. But 0, it looks like they're in some kind of zone here. He floats over to pick him up. And I totally agree with you. That's a shot that he should be putting off the glass or at least taking, because 5 is there getting in position. And I think 10 doesn't stay up near the 3-point line because he probably thinks he's going to take that shot. So he goes in to try and look for the rebound. And then he's kind of surprised, like, oh, what the heck? Why didn't you shoot it? And just instantly turns his back to the basket and one track minded, getting it back out to the guard here.
Yeah, and it didn't look like DJ Horn followed through with his kind of guide hand on that shot as well. That's why it was off. But so Oumar Ballo gets the rebound and he's fouled with 2.9 seconds left. Go back to the top of that one, Chris. So he misses it. I want to ask you, if you're a coach in this position, 2.9 seconds left, Arizona State doesn't have any timeouts. What are you telling your team, and what are you telling Oumar Ballo, who's at the free throw line, to do with the second shot? I want to know what you think. What are your guidance here?
So I'll finish with what I would tell him to do at the line with that shot. But first, I would set up exactly like they are. They got 2 guys in the paint and 2 guys back on defense. Because the last thing you want is that shot coming off the rim, a pass getting chucked down the court, and them getting a 2-pointer. But even with 2.5 left, that is a lot of space to cover in that amount of time. So I would honestly tell him to miss this shot, because what's going to be easier? You're only looking at 2 options here. They have to get a rebound and with no timeouts try and score a bucket, or they're going to get an inbound to get set, do some off the ball screens, try and get a guy open, and potentially have a half court shot to get the win, right?
1,000%. If you miss the first one with 2.9 seconds left and Arizona State not having any timeouts, you miss the second shot. And you don't try and do a force like crazy shot where it ricochets off the basket. You just tell him to short arm it or let it fly high. So it comes off the basket and there's going to be pressure on the rebound. Maybe Arizona doesn't get the rebound, but by the time that ASU comes down with the ball off of a rebound, there's maybe 2 seconds, right? You're losing 0.9 right there. You're going to have instant pressure on top of him, especially if there's a rebound that's fought for. And then what's going to happen? He's going to try and throw a full court pass within that time frame. It's too little, too late. You're not going to be able to tip in. You're not going to have an option for a shot. And there's just going to be, it would be too frantic. You never want to let guys set up for things like this. That's why it was crazy to me. I'd love to know what the coaching staff told those guys. I don't know if you've done any digging from the post-game conference and that kind of stuff. But now you can roll it forward. He makes the second one. And then, I mean, they had brought one guy back up, but then everybody flushes completely back past the 3-point line. No pressure at all. And they let him get downward momentum going into that shot. And like we said, it's not a 1 in a million shot. When you're that wide open, you could probably make it 1 out of 40, 1 out of 50 times. You know what I'm saying? To not put pressure, to give them the momentum moving forward off of the inbound like that was just inexcusable as a coaching staff. And then you see his assistant is yelling at him, hopefully saying the same kind of things. But what a shot, man. What were you thinking about that kind of last possession there for ASU?
Yeah, so I wanted to go back just real quick to this free throw. The only thought I can have, maybe playing devil's advocate as to why you would make that second shot, is one, the unlikely excuse is that you're worried that they're going to chuck a full court pass and get a 2-point bucket and beat you if you miss. Or 2, so by making it, you're up by 2. So if they do that, it's a tie game, you're going into overtime. Or you're worried about if they miss it. I noticed that U of A is also in the double bonus. So if there's a loose ball foul on U of A on that last rebound, then ASU is going to the line to potentially win it. So I could see that, but honestly, like you should trust in your ability to box out, grab a rebound, or at the very least, you don't even have to be that aggressive to try and get the rebound. Let ASU get it, and like you said, they have 2 seconds left to make a pass and get a shot off. That's a hard ask. So now we go forward. He misses the first, he makes the second, as we know, and this inbounds. Yeah, what are they doing? Just everybody right away heading back. Not even any pressure on these two guys to be up on him at all.
I don't know why Larson doesn't hedge towards him. Obviously, you don't want to foul, but to fall back like 4 strides off of him like that, ridiculous.
You're right. And teams, like, I don't know how much at the college level, but I know teams practice those half-court shots. I mean, at least a little bit, and especially guys just messing around before and after games and like whatever in their free time. Guys are taking those shots now. I mean, we see logo Lillard all the time, and everyone wants to be like him and Steph Curry. So yeah, it's not, although it seems 1 in a million, it's really not. Like, that is a makeable shot. I mean, there's even a video out there, probably not online, but you and I were one day just chucking up half-court shots for the fun of it, and we knocked down a couple. And it's just insane that you're gonna, in such a big spot, give a guy that much space to even have a chance when there are just so many things that they could have done to either A, prevent it, or B, make that a lot more of a difficult shot.
Yeah, the main thing you want to do is make it as difficult as possible, and it seemed like they were giving him the freaking red carpet for that shot. I think the last thing that I'll say about it, obviously, what you have to continue to remember about the college game is these guys are kids, man. I know it's different nowadays. Guys are basically being groomed from the age of 12 through AAU, private workouts, and guys have incredible skill, but there's just something to say about the years it takes to really become a smart player and be able to adjust to the flow of the game and the situations faster than a coach having to tell you what's going on. I mean, these guys are still growing mentally, and you see right there, that's a mental lapse. But, for the sake of the Pac-12 and the state of Arizona, I hope Arizona can find some momentum going into the Pac-12 tournament. Maybe make it to the title game, maybe squeak it out, and then have some momentum going into the tournament, because I think it's been a while since anybody has really represented in the Sweet 16 from Arizona. So I'd love to see them take it there. But at the end of the day, what a win for ASU.
Crazy.
What a shot from Desmond Cambridge. One that we will be replaying in Arizona for years to come. I promise you that.